Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Richard and welcome to Pork Chop Fabrication. This episode we're kind of just going to show you the basics of what we're starting with our 2004 4runner. I've done a few little modifications here and there for it, but I'm going to show you kind of where we're starting off with. Show you the parts we have on hand already to install, like these DRT frame chop relocation brackets. And a few other parts, our suspension and all that. Show you kind of where we want it to be within the next year. Parts are coming in slow, stuff's back ordered, so can't promise that these episodes are gonna be every week, every 2 weeks, maybe once a month if you're lucky, if we could get the parts in on time. But yeah, so just gonna show you kind of where we're starting and build it from the ground up on this episode. But first, we gotta go get some welding gas.
We gotta take a night train to the Untitled City to rock out this fucking ancient walls. We gotta take a night train to the Untitled City to make a streamers to down in reverse. We gotta take all dirty night train. Yeah, we gotta take all dirty night train. Hello, mama. Hello, Mr. Grab. Well, I'm a little brother and my good old friends. Sorry, ladies, for this dirty trick, but I took my future wife with me, yeah.
So some of you might be wondering why I'm building a 2004 4runner into a rock crawler. We bought the vehicle about 2 years ago for my wife, upgraded from a 2004 Honda Accord, and just want to buy something that was reasonable to pay off in time, and the vehicle kind of seemed to fit all the parameters of what she wanted. She always liked the 4Runners, but this one had heated seats. It had the V6 versus the V8. So it's kind of just what we got stuck with. What I started with. So it's what I'm going to use. I had a Jeep before and I really enjoyed it, and don't get me wrong, Jeeps are great, but I feel like they are a very entry-level vehicle to get into rock crawling, and it definitely gets people into the off-roading scene. But with all the parts out there that are bolt-on, even the kits that are weld-on, you don't have to think, you don't have to build, you don't have to really do anything to customize it. And once you've worked in the Jeep industry like I did for a few years, you see that every Jeep's the same. It's just kind of cookie cutter and gets boring. So really excited to tackle a Toyota, which is a whole new world for me. And exciting to try new things. Now, some people ask, well, why aren't you straight axling it if you want to rock crawl? A few reasons. One, it's still my wife's ride, so I want it to be comfortable. I don't want hydro assist on the streets. I want her to be as safe as possible daily driving it. Granted, she doesn't drive far, but still. Also, seeing that it's her only ride and that my truck's manual and she does not drive manual, that's her only ride. So I don't want it up on jack stands, and I don't want it to be a year project or a half a year project. That's just going to sit there. I want something that I can build and, do piece by piece, 2-day weekends, 3-day weekends, and really get it done so she can still get to work and still have a vehicle for the most part. So that's another reason why I'm sticking with the IFS. Also, I think I'm building this, and I know Dirt Every Day did their IFS crawler, but I've seen a few other 4runners with like a total chaos system. Awesome builds and very capable. So I want to push my skill as a driver to kind of figure out what an IFS can do versus a straight axle. I've had a straight axle. I know what I'm capable of as a driver, but IFS, whole different, totally different suspension and get up. So I'm interested in just testing the limits and playing around with that. And with the Bronco coming out, its IFS, I think we're going to see a lot more change in the rock crawling kind of mindset. I know for the last few years, IFS has been dominating King of the Hammers. So I don't think it's the IFS that, you know, we're used to, where IFS is just kind of it's good for on-road and rock crawlers straight axle only now. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited to see what my long travel kit is going to be and do versus what a straight axle is. So that's kind of why I'm sticking with this power steering pump is obnoxious. Anyways, that is why I'm sticking with IFS. Is just test my boundaries, see the vehicle's limits. I think it looks kind of cool, just sprawled out. I'm originally from Southern California, so I kind of like that low, wide stance. And I know with straight axle, you also just jack it up super high to get the same clearance. So anyways, we're at the tint shop here. I'm gonna go pick up a sign and see if it's ready.
Look at this. Nothing but perfect.
Awesome sizing.
That's perfect.
Okay, we're back home now. That's the ride. And this is how the sign turned out. Giant dog tag. Thanks to the tint shop in Burley. It's got some vinyl. I've had that giant dog tag laying around my shop for the last 5 years now. It was laser cut for a customer. And forgot how I scored it, but they didn't want it, or the laser nicked it one or two places and whatever. Anyways, here's the vehicle. It's a 2004 4runner limited. We bought it pretty much as is 2 years ago. Yeah, wife and I, 2 years ago. Has a rough country. Let me grab a light. Has a rough country little puck lift on it. Some rough country shocks. Came with some mud trains and the factory wheels. I bought some TRD off-road wheels and some all trains for snow rated. Yeah, we got the little, what is it, Factor 55 hitch link on it right now just for rear recovery. Underneath I made the skid plate, so I'm gonna videotape and film how I make the rest of the skid plates that are gonna go all the way up. This is just for the gas tank on it. I made a switch panel with some rocker switches on it. So this is all gonna get wired in. It's wired into a switch control box, just under the hood. Up front, got some rigid pods just in the bumper. Under the hood, pretty factory engine. It is a V6. So there's my switch pod. That's also from Rough Country. And it's just gonna work all my wiring. Over here I wired in a air compressor with the 2-gallon tank from Viair. Has a pressure switch and everything. That's more for just filling up tires when I'm off-road. Just gotta make a small little bracket for it to hold it. But the bracket it's mainly mounted to is all plugged in. And then just took out the little water trap from the air intake and bought this flexible hose from AutoZone and just installed it to avoid the gallon tank. And then there's a little air compressor with the hose line going back, and that's all plugged into my switch box. So that's pretty much how it sits. Fairly stock 4runner so far. What we're going to do to it, we're going to build some rock sliders, build a rear bumper. Don't know if it's going to have a swing out tire carrier or not. Build a front bumper. Front bumper is going to be pretty cool. It's actually going to cut the factory bumper and it's going to be tucked in behind it. So it'll have a really stock factory look. With a hideaway winch in it. So got a Warn winch on order, the 10S winch from Warn. And so all the armor is going to be handmade. For the suspension, we actually have it in boxes over here. It's going to be a Dirt King fabrication long arm kit with the upper having Heims in it so we could push the front all the way forward. I want to run some BFG KM3 mud trains with some method bead locks. We got Camberg fully welded spindles. If you've seen the factory Toyota spindles, they are chintzy. These things are beef. So pick these all up. Ordered everything Black Friday. I have RCVs on order and King 2.5 coilovers on order. In one of these boxes, it's got the double shear kit for the upper arms from Dirt King Fabrication, and to reinforce the lower arms, got all these parts from Marlin Crawler to reinforce the lower arms on rocks. And I think these kind of act as skid plates. I don't know. Just protects the lower arms. So yeah, tube bender for the rear bumper, just a bunch of scrap steel. And then I think I went over just at the beginning of the video, the frame mount relocation bracket. So I know people have done frame chops and I've done them on other Toyotas. You pretty much take the frame and chop it, or body mount chop it right there. Those DRT ones seem to move the whole bracket and have enough room because you're taking a huge bushing and the washer and just sizing it down. So I'm hoping with that, it'll all be enough room to tuck the BFG 37s. We're going to do E-to-knee locker up front, Dana 60 in the back with the knee locker. It's going to have 488 gears on it. I'm going to have my buddy Travis swing by, do the gears, at least for the front. The rear end is going to be a package deal, super easy, and we're going to be running coilovers on the rear, and they're going to be rear mounted, not front mounted, how the factory is right now. So let me know your thoughts. If you have suggestions, throw them down. I'm just trying to build this. Yeah, it's not going to be a Ultra 4 rock crawler, but it's still going to be decent. I'm super excited to test my limits on an IFS, especially on this vehicle. I think it's really clean. It's a good platform to start with, and it's a good family platform. And if you've ever been in a four-door Jeep, this thing has a way more room in the back seat. Grown adult can fit in the back, so I like it. It's so much more comfortable. But yeah, so if you have any comments or want to see any fabrication specifically while I'm building this, leave it down in the comments. And I will either get back to you by commenting back or do a video response, and you can follow along how I'm fabricating these parts for it. This is the steel for the rock sliders and bumpers and stuff. So it'll be a fun project. Stick around if you want to see more. Subscribe. I will be videotaping from here on out all my progress on this.